Hello everyone and welcome back to PGP Motorsports Park for the first race of the 2025 spring season. We're now officially completely into the new year and the sun is coming out, although we do have some intimidating clouds up above, but I doubt it'll be raining. We should have a somewhat dry circuit today, and we've got a whole lot of rookies in this LCQ looking to make it into the final by finishing in the top 4.
Yeah, it feels good to see so many rookies in the grid. I talked to all of them, and this is all of their first season out here. They picked a really good time to join. Also new are some updated regulations. Bump drafting is no longer allowed, and neither is contact, and they are going to be more strictly enforced than before. So we may see some unfortunate black flags today, but this is going to encourage cleaner racing, which is what we all want to come out here to see. So here they come down the front straight. Getting ready to race 2x2, keeping it nice and clean, brisk, even pace. Really good line. The flag's waved and they're away. 2x2, they are already broken up. Someone's looking to go, trying to get any advantages they can, but they all scoot right into roller coaster.
Looks
and
like
it looks like Cole.
Through it.
It's Cole who came out on top. So Cole Sheriff leads.
Yeah, already with a massive gap forming behind him. It looks like even in the formation lap, he kind of had it in the bag right there. He might have had an unfortunate heat race to put him in this position, which is why he's able to pull away so much with that pace. But around top of the world they go. Looks like we got a couple thoughts of battles going on, but it looks like they're just keeping it clean in their lines. They're not trying to invoke the wrath of the stewards at this point.
We've already seen a black flag happen in one of the heat races. So that's unfortunate that they were doing well, but then they got disqualified into this last chance qualifying. So you really want to emphasize racing cleanly, because when you race clean, that just makes it a better day for everyone, and it's more fun to watch.
And with how fast these guys going, the contacts that can happen at these speeds through here, it could just be quite the strain on the karts, and they just want the karts to last as long as they can. These are rental karts for this rental series.
Now, the good news is, even though it rained overnight, the track is warming up. It is a nice, sunny spring day, scattered cloud cover. The racing conditions are good. You could see it. There's some puddles on the outside of the track. The track is still damp in a few places, but expect to see the track to dry up over the course of the day. I expect full dry conditions by the end.
Looks like someone was in the draft and made a move on the inside of roller coaster. They're going to come out of it. I don't quite see what's going on quite yet. There might have been a little bit of a bump.
Let me get the name standings up there. Because we have so many rookies and people are wearing different clothes, it's really hard for me to tell who's who. But our top 4 who are going into the final as they are...
spin out.
Spin!
Roller coaster.
That looks like one of the rookies. Unfortunate, but that light bulb there where he spun out is a very easy corner to spin in if you're not experienced. So you can't really blame him for spinning there, because this is his first race out here. These are race conditions. This isn't like a normal rental session. These are race conditions. You're really pushing out there. But yeah, our top 4 you can see on the screen: Cole, Michael, Addison, and Mukil. Worth noting that Michael is one of those rookies, and to make it to the final in your debut race, that's a good show. No wonder I didn't recognize him.
Yeah, coming out first time. Sure, you might not have made it in the initial heat race, but just to finish top 4 has got to be a really good feeling out there.
So, because we didn't go over it at the start, in case this is your first time watching, here at PGP Motorsports Park, we have what's called the last chance qualifying that comes before the final. This is where the people that didn't quite qualify for the final race go to race it out, and the top 4 racers of this last chance qualifying get promoted to the final race, where they can score a whole lot of championship points. Also worth noting, in the LCQ, you still get championship points no matter where you finish, so long as you finish. So it's still worth racing for every position, but the more positions you gain, the more points you get. There's my Will Buxton impression. How was that?
Great impression so far. You just want to get more points than the person behind you, and not have less points than the person in front of you, and then you'll win the championship.
Well said. Straight to the point. I love it.
And it looks like we have a battle cooking up for that final spot of the promotion into the final. Between 5th and 4th place, we got someone cleanly in the draft of the back straight here. We'll see if they're looking to make a move.
So that battle for 4th place is between Giovanni and Addison. Giovanni's one of the rookies out here. Addison, I think his debut season was last year. So Addison is not a rookie, but he's going to use that experience to see if he could maintain 4th place and get into the final.
Be a good showing as well. We see them going around the hairpin of turn 1 along the front straight here. He's going to be tucked in for another round of that slipstream, which will be ever so lovely. It'll be about who's cleaner coming out of roller coaster. I hear a little bit of grazing on the little bit of the bumpers there.
I'm going to pull up the lap times just so we can see the pace difference. Cole is running away with it.
Yeah, it looks like someone fell off at roller coaster.
Uh-oh, someone's off at double apex. And another person trying to avoid the crash probably panicked and went off as well.
I think it was with our battle between 5th and 4th place. Someone made a mistake coming out of that, and that either promotes or leaves that person unattacked.
Yeah, Addison is no longer in the top 4. That looks like Addison, who was running 4th place, unfortunately fell out.
And that
really unfortunate. It might be slick up in double apex there.
Is that Giovanni that promoted up to 4th then?
I will find out when they cross the line. And I will do a much better job of recognizing all of the first-timers out here. One of the advantages of coming out here for several years is you can recognize people. Unfortunately, if it's your first time out here, it's very difficult to discern who's who. But we got Cole crossing the line in first, followed closely by Mukil in second. In third, dropping back, was Michael. And our new 4th place racer is Giovanni. So that was Addison, who unfortunately went off. Really unusual to go off in these conditions up in double apex. I don't know what caused it because I didn't see it, but it's unfortunate for Addison who dropped back.
It looks like we have another racer in 5th place who's chasing down Giovanni. And then we have another battle here with someone in a high-vis vest and a sweater going through roller coaster. They're in that drafting distance, which we love to see. Going around double apex now. Do you know the names of these ones, Jeff?
Where are we looking at?
The battle between the high-vis person
The
and...
battle for... Oh, that you're looking at right now. That is between one of the rookies. I think that's either Brandon or Spencer.
It looks like the guy in the high-vis made a beautiful move around the outside of top of the world to claim that position. The person in the hoodie here just didn't have the pace. And
I will get your name down in the paddock after the race so I can congratulate you on that. That was a good move for your first time out here.
It might not be the first time out here.
He's the first time out here.
He is? All right.
I can confirm that. I just forgot his name.
It looks like
I recognize the suit. I recognize the helmet. I don't know the name because I'm bad with names, surprisingly.
And it looks like at this stage of the LCQ, everyone's stretched out. Everyone's just setting their fast laps. Not sure if I see anyone gaining or losing places. I potentially see a battle here.
So unfortunately for anyone viewing, the gaps are really forming now between most racers.
Except between this one, who has so much pace that he's just able to sneak up around the inside. Looks like this person left the door open for him to claim that spot right back. That might be Addison.
And this is why I encourage people to come out here and race, because the way the format's set up, you will always find someone your skill level to race against. So just because you're a rookie, do not get discouraged. You're going to be in a battle, and you're going to have a good time. You're going to find someone to race with. You just most likely won't be racing in the front of the pack.
And it looks like the gap is closing at this front of the pack between first and second place.
Let me get the time differences and see just how that gap is closing. So they are... Ooh, Mukil actually is pushing and is capable of closing the gap to first. So we might see a battle for first near the closing stages of the race. Also worth noting, the sun is shining brighter than it was at the start of the race. That track is going to be drying, and those lap times will be improving.
I'm definitely feeling that burn here.
But yeah, it looks like this LCQ is starting to die down. Seems like everybody's just having a nice Saturday stroll. They're all spaced out.
Yeah, and their Saturday qualifying event right here. Who can set the fastest lap? That'll be the next question. Do we have the fastest lap of the race right now?
What was that? I missed it.
Who has the fastest lap of the race right now?
The fastest lap of the race right now is a really good question, and that actually looks to be Mukil with a 79.9.
closing in on that person in first place?
Oh, yeah, that would be Cole in first place. So Mukil, who has the fastest lap and currently in second, is trying to close that gap to Cole, who's in first. So we'll see what they can do. Right now, they're both in prime position to get into the final. And it's up to them whether they want to fight it out or conserve their energy for the final. Because I will say, going 20 minutes of racing directly into another 20 minutes of racing takes a huge toll on your stamina. That's a little more, that's actually almost half the distance of an endurance race.
One advantage that these LCQ winners have going into the final is that they get to keep the kart that they raced in. So they got 20 minutes of tire warming in front of them, so they'll be all gripped up to start at the back of the pack here.
That really comes into play with cold track conditions, but the temperature is warming up, so it'll be less of an advantage than it would be if it was back in winter season. As we saw in a couple of races last season, it looks like we might have some action in the back, battling for not last place. Coming down into turn 1, they're closing in. Normally we don't get this kind of camera footage, but they're coming out side by side down the front straight. Let's go.
Let's see how this...
I don't have their names, but we do have them on camera. Going into turn 1. And I will say, your first race out here, diving into turn 1 is very intimidating because it's a sharp left turn into a banked right turn right after a long straight. Getting that braking point in entry without the experience knowing how to do it optimally, it's intimidating but exhilarating.
Extremely, and because of that banked corner, you just have a lot more grip than you would expect to have. So if you were to try to play it safe for this scary corner, you're just going to lose too much time, so you need to risk it.
You got a battle in turn 4.
Bank.
They're coming down the back straight. They were really chasing each other through turns 5 and 4.
It looks like they're just out of the draft range, though.
Yep, they just got out of that draft.
We have that battle resuming at the back of the pack. A little bit of two-wide action going on. Not sure if the overtake was already made or not.
And this is what I love about coming out here. There's always battles.
And that gap between first and second still shrinking.
Oh,
and
yeah,
at
that
this
gap
point,
is
they might be
shrinking.
in draft distance at this point.
We're in the middle stages of the race, so there's still plenty of time for Mukil to get a move on Cole. As you can see, that gap has really come down. And I'm pretty sure Cole is aware that he's being hunted. Oh yeah, he's definitely aware. He looked and he saw Mukil right behind him, puts his head down, get that tiny bit of aerodynamic advantage that is moot because of the seat rest, but it makes you feel cool.
It makes you feel faster.
It makes you feel faster, therefore you go faster.
But,
he has a stripe on his helmet, therefore he's faster. That's how it works.
But unfortunately for him, the person behind him just seems to be that much faster, as now they're going to be diving into that draft on the front straight.
We got a sandwich of battles. We have a battle for not last and a battle for first. They're going around double apex. They know what they're doing. They're getting away. And who was in second with Michael, his first time out here. He's out in his own race right now. Let me get the gaps up so you can see just how far ahead the top two have gapped. The field is spread so far. But yeah, Mukil is caught right up to Cole.
Yeah,
Mukil's in striking distance now. He just needs to close that gap, get a good exit, turn 4. Looks like he does.
And then we might see a classic draft overtake. We'll see how good Cole is on the defense.
If I pull up their lap times now.
It looks like they're still maintaining their racing lines. No defensive lines have been thrown yet.
Oh yeah, Mukil is 2/10 faster consistently than Cole. And now it's up to Cole to get on the defensive. We have a battle for the lead.
That we do, as we see Mukil pull up alongside him around the outside of turn 3. But now he's going to be sliding into that draft around the front straight here. And they're going to stick to their defensive lines, and Mukil's going to move out, and then Cole's going to move out last second to take that racing line into roller coaster. Let's see if they both get out of it. They're going to be going through double apex now.
Cole is in pure defense mode. He is slamming the door shut, even if it compromises his line. Let's see if Mukil can actually capitalize on it. Because if you're too defensive, you actually leave yourself open to a vulnerable attack from you'll get flanked, basically. And we've seen it time and again happen when that there is a very special way to defend without leaving yourself vulnerable from an unexpected line. And let's see if Mukil can capitalize on it, because Cole, he's extremely defensive. Fortunately, he knows not to be way too defensive. He didn't hug the inside of 5, but he's covering up his vulnerabilities. It's a good display of defense by Cole. He just has to not overdo it.
He's in that draft. Cole moves over to the racing line. They both take that racing line through there. No dive bomb is thrown. And it looks like there's going to be a little bit of jinking around as they... Oh, and then there's contact up on the inside. The door's closed on him as he tries to nudge it up on the inside of turn 2.
Cole left the door open on that one. Yeah, Cole left the door open, and Mukil saw that open door, and he went for it. Cole should have been a little tighter, in my opinion, going into turn 2 like that, because he knows Mukil's right behind him. You got to keep that door shut. Hug the inside if you know someone could peek a nose down in there, and that's what Mukil did. So it's very fortunate that they were keeping it facing forward, but...
Yeah, that very much could have ended in a crash for Mukil there. I've been in that same situation there where the door just closes on you and then all of a sudden you're facing the wrong direction. But he's able to back out of it and hold it in a straight line, and he's going to reignite his attack and try it again.
Now, unfortunately for Mukil, that contact did unsettle his front tires, so it's likely that they're a little overheated. These small go-kart tires are quite sensitive, and if you push them too hard, you're going to have to take a little bit back, but it looks like Mukil's like, all right, we're good to go. He is already catching back to Cole. Diving down the inside of 3, but thinks better of it.
Out.
Very disciplined by Mukil not to commit to that.
But he lost so much time in backing out. That gap just absolutely widened. Definitely scared from the time that the door was closed on him. He did not want it to happen in that corner that time.
We see the blue flag being shown to a lapped car who is not getting out of the way. Okay, it's a bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off. And
right, it looks like he does get out of the way for first place, and now there needs to be room for second place, and we'll see what can happen there. But roller coaster is really hard to get out of the way in.
That's all right. They make it past. Actually, just kidding. They don't. That lapped car does not understand that the blue flag means you're being lapped. And I think I saw a car go into the dirt. Or rather, dip a tire into the dirt. Oh,
it looks like someone's out.
That's Brandon off in the dirt. Come on, you were in third place. He just went off by himself. That's unfortunate, but he still comes back on the track. Doesn't lose a position. That's how far the gaps are. But now his third place is under threat from Giovanni.
Second place finally laps the back marker, but he's got a lot of work to do to catch up to first place again.
Yeah,
now the battle for fourth place.
It's very rare that we see a lapped car, so it's one of the rookies getting lapped. Personally, I think that was okay. He didn't really fight for the position as far as I could see. But if you're getting lapped, you're getting lapped. That's how it is. Now, unfortunately, that did kill the battle for first. But fortunately, it's relatively inconsequential in the grand scheme of things.
We're on the last lap as well.
It is the final lap. We're coming into the closing stages. So Michael. Different rookie. There's another guy out here named Brandon. Michael maintains his third place despite going off in double apex.
That was so much of a gap to have if he's able to do that.
In fact, let me get the gaps up on screen. The gap to third place is a whopping 25 seconds between the leader. That's a huge gap. But yeah, unfortunately in fifth place is Chammer, who's usually in the final. He just couldn't find the pace today and is in fifth place and will not be making it to the final.
But it looks like we have Cole, who was able to hold off against Mukil for those scary 3 laps that he had to go through before the back marker got involved. And he's got quite the gap in front. I just don't see a way that Mukil could catch up in these last few corners.
He got held up by a back marker, that's all.
He'll be rounding up.
Rounding out the back, it's the second to last place guy. But rounding out the turn 1, it's Cole Sheriff to win the LCQ. Followed by Mukil. Let me get those gaps up so we can see just how far they are. But
Yep,
congratulations to Cole and Mukil, moving on to the final. Crossing now is a back marker. That was the lapped car, so unfortunately he doesn't make it into the final. But who does make it into the final, coming around turn 1 now, is Michael in his first race out here, making it into the final, as well as Giovanni making it out in the final as well. Congratulations to our top 4 making it to the final, and we will see you at that final.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the final. This will be the first final of the 2025 Spring Championship. This is where you will establish your championship lead. Whoever wins this will be the leader for maybe not the rest of the season, but they'll be the leader for this chance.
For the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah, this is their guarantee. This is where you set yourself. This is where you set yourself. This is where you set the tone.
All right, so let's get that starting grid, and I recognize a lot of faces. In fact, nearly all of them. Starting in pole, we got good old, I did not blank on Thomas Heacock's name, thank you. And next to him is Kirk. And then in row 2, really good show from Nick and Sergey. So a really strong top 4. Fifth and sixth is Chem and Spencer. Then David and David's son. Then William Yee and Todd Hutchings. Todd has his own YouTube channel, by the way. I hope his GoPro's on. We're going to see a lot of action today as they round the turn 1 onto the front straight to kick off the sprint season of 2025. 2x2 they go, nice and steady, gridded up, nice view of the balcony, and the green flag's waved, and they're away. They're keeping it steady. We got Sergey warming his tires really quickly going into turn 1, seeing what he can do.
Let's see if they all make it through there cleanly.
And they all make it for the... Ooh, really nice. Thomas retains his lead, followed by, hard to tell from this distance, Kirk. So Thomas and Kirk maintain his lead. Sergey finds his way into 3rd. Chem in 4th. Spencer in 5th. So whoever... Oh, no, that means Nick fell back. Unfortunate for Nick, but he's still in the top squabble. He could still make things things work.
Thomas already establishing a gap between himself and second place. Just a really good showing out there. And then who do we have in second place here?
Oh boy, 2 wide into turn 5? Just kidding. They sorted out. Very cool. Very nice. Thomas getting away with it. Kirk starting to build a gap. Sergey in 3rd. Will he be a train conductor today? We're about to find out. Sergey's on a charge. He wants to catch Kirk. Sergey's on the offensive today. Now that Palau Patini's not participating in the league anymore, he took his 9 championship wins, and this season we're going to have a new champion.
Yes, we will, and it might be Thomas's championship to win if he's able to continue to maintain this gap that he's got going on.
But here we go. We see Sergey
making a move up on the inside of the roller coaster.
He is committed. But not too committed. That looked really aggressive, but controlled. Very good showing.
He backs out at the very last second before going into it.
And he just tucks right behind. Perfect precision. That's Kirk, Sergey, and Chem. I'd say the 3 most aggressive drivers on the grid are in a row in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. We'll see how this pans out. Now, fortunately, due to the new regulations, they are going to be a lot more strict on unnecessary contact and even, quote, necessary, unquote, contact, because you're in control of your kart. You should be in control of your kart. Therefore, you should not be hitting other people. It's a non-contact sport, and we're going to keep it that way.
And as this line goes right through right now, it looks like it's the Kirk train with Sergey desperately trying to move around. He's been throwing a lot of dummy moves, but this one might not be the dummy as he moves up to the inside of turn 2. Chem's going to look to follow him through. Let's see how this resolves itself. Chem, and it looks like...
that was almost a 2-for-1, but Kirk keeps his foot in the door going into turn 2. Chem is forced to take the outside line. Now he's under threat by Spencer, but he keeps it into the inside of turn 1. It's going to get really dicey. They're still side by side, Chem and Kirk. And Chem gets the worst of it.
Now 3 wide. Davidson moves up.
And Spencer gets the best of all that. Spencer moves up to 4th place. And now Kirk falls back.
They're still 2 by 2.
No, that's Chem in 5th. And when the dust settles...
The dust hasn't settled quite yet as there's still a little bit of 2-wide action going on through double apex. It looks like we have Spencer and Chem and Kirk all involved in there, and it looks like David is up in there as well, fighting alongside Spencer. But it looks like when the dust settles...
The dust has settled, and the timing sheets are not correct because everything happened going into turn 1. But it looks like from my visual, as we go from turn 6 to 5, Thomas in the lead. We got Sergey in second, Spencer in third, Kirk in fourth, Davidson fifth, Chem sixth, Williams seventh, Nick eighth, David ninth.
Couple two-wide action going on between Todd and it looks like someone else in all white. But the battle for the front, Thomas still in that lead. Sergey now building up a gap behind him and looking to chase down Thomas as he will look to contend for that championship
Chem's
title.
stuck in traffic and Chem's falling back. Chem found himself in the worst position possible. He's stuck now in the big squabble behind, and everyone's going to take advantage of Chem's lost momentum. Everyone's getting by Chem now. This is so unfortunate for Chem, who's usually fighting for the lead, is now fighting for his own positions.
He's just not able to get back into the line. He's just stuck on the outside of the racing line.
For some reason, the timing sheets have not updated on this. Let me see if I can... They're updating in the window. Let me see if I can do this.
Let's see.
1 second. Technical difficulty. Will this work? What the heck happened there?
Who do we have in third? That's Spencer, right?
Yes, that's Spencer
All right,
in
so
third.
Spencer up in third.
The on-screen timing sheets have broken, despite the fact that I have changed nothing. But they work on the browser window. It's an OBS issue. Don't worry about it. I blame the MacBook. Easy target.
Yep.
I still have the data in front of me. It's just not going to appear on screen correctly.
All right, so here it looks like we got ourselves quite the train behind Kurt right now.
So, yeah, we got the Kirk train now from 4th place. That's Chem really trying to sneak in, but Davidson wants to have a word. Davidson forcing the issue, and now Chem's going to dive inside to Davidson. Davidson went for the move, it didn't work, and that let Chem get by. Really unfortunate. Now David and Davidson are going to try to get past Chem side by side going into one. We got a squabble of four for in 4th place. Chem going on the offensive, and they tuck neatly in the roller coaster.
And then it looks like they all get sorted out into their line. We got a couple two-way battles going into roller coaster as well. Hopefully they keep it clean. I see a little bit of contact in there. But
Chem dives the inside. There was contact. I can't tell what happened. But Chem forcing the issue on the inside of both Light Bulb and Top of the World to make it into bus stop. And Chem emerges victorious from that squabble. That leaves the order of that train. It's Chem, Kirk, Davidson, David, and William Yee. There is a pointed black flag at either Kirk or Chem. I couldn't tell. At Kirk. I've confirmed it's a pointed black flag at Kirk. So a pointed black flag is a warning. It means you've been driving too aggressively or otherwise breaking rules. If you do it again, you get black flag, which means you get disqualified from the race. You don't want to get disqualified from the race for obviously inherent reasons.
And it looks like we got two trains forming here. We got one headed up by Chem now, and we have another train headed up by David.
Oh, we got the double train now. A quick update. Spencer, who's in 3rd, is catching up to Sergey, who's in 2nd, but that's nowhere near as close as the squabble of 5 going into turn 1. Well, roller coaster turn 1. There's 2 turn 1s on the track. There's turn 1 reverse and turn 1, which is actually turn 1. They're going in the reverse direction today. So for all intents and purposes, roller coaster is turn 1, even though it's technically turn 17?
And the people currently presiding on the podium right now, Thomas, Sergey, and Spencer, have just been doing a good job at getting out of their respective battles and allowing themselves to just put down good laps and get away from all the chaos that's going on behind them.
Spencer, it's going to be up to Spencer to decide how this battle's going to go. Because Spencer could fight Sergey, or he could just follow Sergey and allow Sergey to push to catch up to Thomas. So Spencer could do the 9,000 IQ play and be patient, or he could do the aggressive move, which is good on camera, and fight Sergey for 2nd place. So I personally think Spencer is going to see what he could do about being patient to get the win. Because all these races want to win, and to win, you actually have to be patient.
And something to note here is that at the beginning of this race, Thomas had a huge gap, but that gap has shrunk significantly ever since Sergey was able to get away from that battle. And now Sergey is 100% within that draft distance, and these battles will start to kick off. Speaking of battles, it looks like we have some more two-wide action going into roller coaster. Lots of potential there for a swapping of positions.
Sergey's caught up to Thomas and is making a move into light bulb, and it didn't stick. That was a move for the win, and Sergey is actually badgering Thomas for the lead of the race. They've caught up, and we now have a three-way battle for the lead. Let me get those times for you. Well, for me, and I'll just relay the info. Thomas and Sergey are setting equal lap. Just kidding. Thomas is actually a couple tenths slower than Sergey and Spencer. So it's up to Thomas to defend his lead. Spencer and Sergey, who are in third and second.
Thomas, not being defensive at all, opens the door, and Sergey's going to dive up right inside on turn 3. He's going to have a textbook overtake through there, and Spencer is actually going to do the double overtake, roll up on the inside of turn 3, and get all of them and claim the lead of the race.
A 2-for-1 special for Spencer. He sees Sergey make the move, says, hey, I can do you one better. I'll take an even better line. While you two are fighting, I'm going to snipe the lead of the race, and Spencer snatches the lead of the race away. And I'm sure Sergey will not be happy about that. Sergey, who was in second, tried to attack the lead, and he passed the leader, but then got passed immediately. So he's still in second.
That was a fantastic move from Spencer. Absolutely great, because it was just a textbook move from Sergey, where he's taking that inside line, and then Spencer just somehow finds the insidest line.
It's a wild way to start the season. A three-way battle for the lead. You'll love to see it.
And it looks like we see someone with the black flag walking towards the track. This might not be a warning at this point.
It's possible, but we'll see what happens. That looks to be a pointed black flag at another racer. I think that might be William. I'm not sure.
But it doesn't matter that he got the pointed black flag. He's still going to finish his move as he moves up onto the inside and claims that spot.
Turn 3, we got a move for the lead of the race. That is Sergey on the inside of Spencer, who had to brake just early enough. Spencer mastering that braking point to maintain the lead of the race. And now Sergey is under threat by the former race leader, Thomas. But he keeps that door closed. We're seeing the Sergey's control defense and defense at the same time. We have 3 of the most experienced racers out here and locked in a battle for the lead. And we're just getting started.
Fantastic battle that we have going on here. As Sergey takes a defensive line to make sure Thomas isn't trying anything sneaky to claim that second place. Through double apex they go. Thomas right on the bumper of Sergey here. Sergey definitely taking defensive lines at this point. He will not tolerate another position lost.
Yeah, Sergey's extremely defensive, but Sergey knows what it takes to win. And I think Thomas knows that he has to play this smart. It's really hard not to let your adrenaline get the best of you in this kind of position.
And it looks like someone else was able to escape the train battle and might be coming to join them. That looks like it's Chem.
That's Chem in 4th place, who's on a charge. And I'm going to check if Chem has the pace. Chem has the pace to catch up, but it's going to be near the end of the race. If Chem can keep hammering in banker laps, then Chem could actually catch up to the top 3 and try to reclaim the race win. But here we got the top 3 coming into turn 2, which then turns to turn 1. They keep it single file. They're all biding their time, waiting for an opportune moment to strike. And I feel like it's going to be Sergey who pulls the trigger, as he normally does. Spencer, very defensive, not giving any of them an inch because he knows what's at stake. Perfectly controlled by Spencer.
And Sergey's going to force him onto that defensive line by moving up to the outside. We have some two-wide battle going on into roller coaster. Let's see how that pans out. They're going to keep it 2 wide. And they're going to make it through there. It looks like there was someone a little bit sideways in there, but they were able to recover it and go back into their lines. I'm not sure if a position was gained or lost, but it was some action.
So the battle that they were focused on right there is one of the mid-train battles starting from 5th place. That is William Yee, followed by Davidson, and hard to tell. Yeah, that's William, Davidson. Who? I think that might be Kirk. Yeah, that's Kirk that fell back. And Sam now in the mix.
And it looks
Nick
like
following Sam.
And there's another driver that escaped that train. And it's David, who will now be working to catch up to that front pack and make it a battle for 5. And we'll see if both of them can do that catch-up maneuver to make it that battle of 5, as we have our battle of 3, as Sergey and Thomas are still glued to the back of Spencer.
For fun fact, David, currently in 5th place, making that charge, is currently the fastest man on track. Holds the fastest lap at a flat 80 seconds. But here we see that battle in the front. Spencer defending against Sergey. This is unstoppable force meets immovable object once more. We've seen Sergey on the defense, but this is Sergey on the attack. And now it's up to Spencer to defend. Normally it's Spencer on the attack, but Thomas trying to get around Sergey. Sergey on the inside of light bulb doesn't quite make it. And that is Thomas being a thorn in Sergey's side. Sergey really wants to fight, but he has to be conscious of Thomas, who's right behind, and Thomas knows this and is taking full advantage of the track position to try to retain that race lead that he once had. And all this pressure is just letting Chem slowly catch up.
As well as David, who, as you said, had set the fastest lap previously. This battle is extremely tense.
Now we are entering the closing stages of the race. We have about 2 or 3 laps left. So it's going to be up to them to see how this pans out. But the pressure is on. The race win's on the line, and it looks like Sergey is really looking for any advantage he can get to try to make in front, but Spencer's having none of it. Spencer knows how to hold this. And it's up to see if if there's going to be any crack. You got to be any crack in the armor. Sergey's throwing dummy moves. Seeing if anything can stick, but Sergey knows that their paces are next to equal. They are so close to each other. This is right on the razor's edge. All 3 of them are driving optimally.
And it's intense battling going on out there. They're literally just nose to tail, all the way from 1st to 3rd. And with the threat of Chem and David coming in, this might be a very exciting final lap.
Now, I think that Chem and David are just a little too far out to be a serious threat, but that's not to say it's not possible.
It looks like Thomas fell off a little bit after some moves were thrown.
A bit of a breather for Sergey, because Thomas has fallen back a little bit. I'm not sure what happened there, but now Sergey can have one move to attack Spencer. But let's see how he does it, because being stuck behind Spencer, that's just going to let Thomas catch up. So if Sergey wants to make a move, he's going to need to do it ASAP, because Thomas is already catching back up. They're going to have a couple more laps.
And this all came just from that one double overtake that Spencer was able to make. And after he claimed that position, he's just doing a masterful job at holding on to it.
We have a 3 wide down the front straight going into roller coaster. There's Kurt,
no way
Nick,
this works.
And Sam. And Sam gets the better of it despite being on the outside. Sam gets a 2-for-1. This is a battle in the back, but very bold move that paid off from Sam. So Sam gets ahead of Kirk and Nick.
That's always really sketchy when you see 3 wide going into roller coaster. But they made it work, and they're still all pointing in the right direction.
I gotta say, I don't want to jinx it, but these new clean racing rules are working wonders. We are getting some intense racing out here without the threat of going into the grass. I love to see it.
And it looks like Thomas has recovered from his mistake and is now nose to tail with that top 3 there. Chem still gaining, David still gaining, but not quite there into that battle.
Also, spoiler alert, I see the flag bearer getting ready to wave the white flag. We are now at the final lap of the first race of the spring 2025 season, spearheaded by this group of 3. We got Spencer, Sergey, and Thomas. They're all fighting for the win, and we'll see who comes out on top. They got 1 lap left, and Thomas is really aggressive. Thomas is pushing. I don't think Thomas cares about winning. I think he just cares about getting in front of the people in front of him to get second place at least. Because Thomas was leading the race. I feel like Thomas is really going to pull the trigger this lap. That's what I think.
Yeah, because it's one thing when you're just circling around the lap, and you know that you have another lap to go. But at this point, we're on the last lap. This is your last chance to maximize your championship points, because whoever comes out of this on top will be the championship leader for the spring championship.
Sergey looks to see if he could throw the dummy inside. Oh no! They lost a little bit of control going into turns 5 and 4. It's going to explode.
And now here comes Chem, who catches right up to the back of this
Chem
pack
catch
to try to claim a podium.
I saw the cart slip, so they retain positions, but now Chem's in the mix. They have two more corners to go through into turn 2, and they're going to keep that door slammed shut. I don't think anything's going to happen unless it's forced, which they can't. And as they come through, Chem trying to dive the inside, it doesn't work. And they come as they go, it's going to be a photo finish to the line!
Oh, and Spencer takes it. First place, Sergey second, Thomas third, Chem fourth, David fifth. So close across the line, but we still got more battles to go, as there's a huge cluster that all cross the line pretty much all at the same time to solidify their championship points and hopefully make it into the top 20.
Spencer managed to maintain his lead by 0.065 seconds. That was a photo finish to close out the first race of the season.
That was crazy. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to see the second race of this soon-to-be chaotic spring season, and we're going to see you at the podium.
Of the spring league racing season. We had some good battles out there. Nice three-way battle for the lead in the main event. They only were half a second across each other for pretty much the entire race, which is always good to see. We're going to start off with the fastest lap of today's race, going to William Yee with a 79.660. Having a few points out there. Coming in third place in the race, with best lap time on 80.208.479 off the lead, Thomas Heacock. Taking second place out there with an 80.121 best lap time, 0.065 off the leader, side by side over the line. Second place, Sergey Kvastov. Nice job, Sergey. And taking that top spot, best lap of an 80.207. Getting back up on the top of the podium, Spencer Foot. Woo, Spencer! Got it. 3, 2, 1. Congratulations. We got a lap time here for the main